The southernmost edge of the official Pacific Northwest. It's a beautiful land of endless wilderness, but there's something off about it. While in the Sierras, the museums celebrate John Muir, granite cliffs, and the gold rush, this area's museum looks different. I've come back once again to investigate the ongoing Bigfoot phenomena of this region. I'm meeting up with other researchers and will conduct our best efforts to find evidence. Now, in order to understand the present, we have to understand the past. The Yurok, the Hoopa, the Oma.
Here, there's the Hoopa, the Karuk, and the Yurok. And they each have different areas, which are like kind of sacred to them. And Bluff Creek's seen hundreds and hundreds of years of people living here and hunting here. Really kind of a special spot.
In the late 1950s, logging crews were given rights to cut roads through virgin timber. Men and heavy machinery were now in areas of this forest where no people had ever been before. It's the tale of this land. A long Native American history of stories of hairy giants roaming the forest and logging crews chased away by vandalized construction sites.
My name is Carl Crew, and my great uncle was Jerry Crew. Yeah, baby. My father and my uncle Jim logged the forests of Mount Shasta with Jerry. And I've heard stories all my life about Bigfoot. My uncle Jim gave me stacks of yellowed newspaper articles that he saved for years and years and years about Jerry Crew. And I literally went through, there's tons of them in here. I literally went through every single one and read every one. And on top of that, he gave me stacks of magazines about Jerry Crew. The very famous Argosy one, and just, you know, all these cool Saga, Bigfoot. And also I got to interview Peter Burns. Like, wow, they call him the Indiana Jones Don Quixote. Oh my goodness, it was such an honor, man. This guy hunted the Yeti in the Himalayas. So it was an honor. He had to be very careful, man. I was like, couldn't get excited when you talked to him. He just had to be very forthright and a very, very kind guy.
During the 50s and 60s, it was almost like a lot of those guys thought of it as kind of like a joke. But a lot of them, you know, kind of understood that these things are out there and they're not just ghosts or like, you know, hallucinations or something. They're actually like a real thing that's out here. So I tell people that come out here, just at least, you know, even if you don't believe, just pretend you believe for a few days, and you'll start to kind of feel, I don't know what a good word is, like a little bit more respect, you know, when you don't think it's all just a big joke.
And like the researchers of old, we show up today to do much of the same. Today, it is an area of beautiful, seemingly never-ending wilderness, riddled with problems of meth, hidden pot farms, and continuous reports of hairy humanoids lurking the forest. This is Humboldt. This is Bluff Creek. While you have signature places like Loch Ness, Point Pleasant, and Falk, Arkansas, this place seems to trump them all. This place had an explosion of popularity with the Bigfoot phenomena in the 1960s. That phenomena, the wonder, and the sightings continue to this day. I'm joined by other researchers, Alex Petikoff and Eli Watson of Small Town Monsters, Tate Hieronymus of the Bluff Creek Project, and Ron Reed. While our initial plans were to stay at the Patterson-Gimlin film site tonight, there were rumors of a downed tree blocking the path.
Yeah, kind of fun.
We'll be right back.
Cool, man.
Dude, we're here. We made it.
Dude, I felt like it took me like 5 years to drive here. Oh my god, dude. The road here was just like so, I mean, it was such a long drive. When I was first trying to talk to Alex, I couldn't even like get words out in a sentence correctly because like I'm so sleep deprived.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
GoPro setup. Camera gear everywhere. Just my truck is packed. I haven't showered in 3 days.
Smells like it.
This is the life though, man. Beats washing roofs every day.
My coworkers are at work right now.
Suckers.
Working. Yeah, this is Tonight, we'd have to resort to Louse Camp. And on the way, I was told of a story that happened just yesterday.
It's right over here. So we were coming through here.
Yeah.
There's all these rocks, and we basically would pick them up, throw them down here. You can hear them go all the way down to the creek. See how there's trees up there?
Yeah.
I've
stood right there, yeah.
See that one notch? Yep. So that is where the rocks started falling down from. First there were a couple little pebbles, and then we started getting rocks like this. I saw one like this come inches from my foot. Backed up over here, then we're looking up and we're like, Tate thought he saw eye shine. We didn't see anything. There was something moving down in the creek in that area. You could hear movement.
Yeah.
And again, we were throwing rocks down there. So if there's something down there, we were probably freaking it out. When we go up in the daytime, I'll take you up there because my pheromone chip is like right on this tree right there that I'm kind of shining on. The sand up there, there's no big rocks, but they're on the edge. Like if you go to the ledge,
You'd have to. I feel like you'd have to
up.
pick them up or kick them over.
Exactly. So Tate was parked here, and this thing stopped his car from getting hit. I was convinced his car was going to get hit. We'll show you the video. You'll see it. I mean, it was like you'll hear the us just being like, "What the heck is going on here?" You know. And Eli's cursing, and we're like, "This is nuts."
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't even know if you can. Yeah, you can see it in the video, like right there. That's where it is. Yeah. That little in between the trees. That's where it was, or where the rocks came from, rather. So I don't know, man. It's weird.
We're camped right up the road from it. So, yeah.
What else would it say?
Yeah.
That's good shit.
And yeah, it's so comfortable and small. And weighs like this much, which is nothing. Oh man, I just got it. That's it. 1 million views right there. That easy. You see this? Much.
Dude, for the
Last
first
time I was here,
ever,
dude, I could hear like the creek singing like a mariachi song. I know how ridiculous it sounds, but it was like a song I've never heard before.
Really?
For the first time ever, I heard ladies talking in the creek last night.
Oh really?
A couple nights ago, yeah. Dude, people here.
There are ladies talking in the creek.
Yeah.
There was a time when it sounded like there were like 4 or 5 kids like splashing around and playing. Man down. Splashing around and playing, and it was just the creek sound.
Kip, Robert.
Elk Valley's kind of one of the areas where it's one of their doctor areas. At least it's written about. The actuality of it is different from what has been written about it. So what's written about it is that that's one of the areas where they would do their doctor ceremonies, and they would send their new doctors, which were pretty much always women who were basically chosen to be like shaman or like medicine woman or like elders. They were chosen to be these like leaders in the tribe. So someone who was elevated to that status, they would send to up the trail at Blue Creek all the way up to Elk Valley.
my camera. It just looks like a light though. It's like stopping. What do you see? It changes pace. Yeah, you see that? Yeah. Oh, you can't get it. Sputters and then it goes and stops. Well, here we are back at Louse Camp. It's been a year since I've been here. I'm gonna get some rest because I haven't officially slept in now 2.5 days. So, all right. Alright, so what is this? It's a pheromone chip that...
It's called Sasquatch Pheromones. It was developed by Dr. Greg Bambanek on request of Doug Hychek from Monster Quest. It was used on a Skookum expedition, I think. A bunch of other ones, but it's a mixture of human and gorilla vaginal bacteria smells. So I have to
Let's take a whiff. Let's take a whiff.
1 bag, 2 bag, and then the jar, and then it's within a jar.
I might not survive this.
Sasquatch pheromone. You can probably already smell a little bit, huh? I don't even want to touch this, but ready? I don't think you're ready for it.
Oh! It won't get out of my nose. It won't get out of my nose. Ever have anything weird happen out here?
You know, and that's where I come up with, you know, like I've grown up around here, you know, I've heard about it since I could understand words and people talk about it, but I've never personally had any noises that like caused me to be like, what the hell's going on? I've never seen any tracks or anything that I have some in my truck, you know, that have caused me to be like, oh my gosh, I think I just had a Bigfoot experience and some type.
Never heard anything weird.
But I've heard so many people, like I say, come up to me and share their stories with me. It's like, what do I do? Tell them you're a liar?
Right.
I love the Bigfoot logo of any type, you know, like my water bottle's got Bigfoot stickers on it. My tire cover on my Jeep's got a Bigfoot, the footprint with the silhouette and the footprint.
Yeah, right.
It says believe.
Yeah! On YouTube.
Okay.
All stuff's coming out next month. This swimming hole has a history of reports by swimmers claiming that they were being watched from high up on the ridge. Woo! Woo! Freezes you. Woo! Watch out for the giant salamanders in here.
All right, ready for this?
He's like a hair-covered dolphin.
Ow. It needs to be tight.
The GoPro whacked me in the face.
You can start this shot over again.
Fuck, you funked it up, Eli. Schmeeli.
Cheers.
You got it with transfer.
You guys have extra triple A's on here or no?
You only have the cuck master himself.
Oh yeah. Everyone's got cool hats.
I don't have a cool hat.
Camping at the film site, hiking down right now.
There you go. Okay.
We'll take
Cool.
out tomorrow.
Too much. Once you get in and lay in it, it's not so bad.
Find about that right balance point.
Yeah,
Make sure you're
it's a
like
little
right where it's
thin. It was
supposed
just
to
one of those Chinese ones. I didn't want to go ahead and pay for the expensive one.
Right.
But that's the expensive one of those. That one came out pretty good. That one, yeah, you just gotta find 3 trees.
Yeah, that one with the wind blowing the side effect.
Look at this.
Oh, that's gotta be cool.
You can get two people in there,
The only thing is once you like shake, if you roll, like turn around, it's like an earthquake.
I feel like if you're heavy enough though, I mean. Eli. Good, I'm locking
So the plan right now is to go down and hike into the Patterson-Gimlin film site. We'll spend the night there.
Where's the lightning bolt come out of this?
What would you like?
This is my Rickenbacker.
Yeah.
Not really designed for like the multi-day backpacking stuff.
I mean, he's a happy dog right now, man.
What are you doing?
Hey, buddy.
It's a fairly easy but rugged 1.5-mile hike from the berm down to the Patterson-Gimlin film site.
Did you get that?
Absolutely.
Very late.
It might be nice to put a solo camper out here. I will.
At times, I stop and think of the correlations between Roger Patterson, myself, and the guys I'm with on this trip. After all, we are here at Bluff Creek, filming a Bigfoot documentary. It was a situation just like this one, when Roger came down to investigate recent footprint finds. You have to wonder, will today be the day where a Bigfoot jumps out from behind a tree and you film it in perfect 4K? Would the discovery happen today or tomorrow? When that wonder is gone, that's when I'll stop.
Jerry Crew drew the map that was used by Bob Gillen to go to that site. Okay? He gave it to Al Hodges. He goes, here's the map. This is he gave it. So he gave it to Titmus, and Titmus is the one that gave it to Bob Gimlin, and they used it and they found it.
Wow, that's a good analysis right there. Hey, look, squash waves is rock.
Squeezed it out, got some hair on it.
Well, that's definitely like.
It's pretty big.
You know what? We should look around and see if we can find a kill sign. Actually, did you?
He literally just took it. He did exactly what he did earlier. Take that big rock, like plunked it right next to where he has the other rocks. He didn't throw it or like bang it or anything.
I heard it. I kind of heard it resonate a lot. I mean, we were all the way back there, right?
Yeah, we heard it.
So
You and I were like, what the? I'm like, it must be Kate in the river.
it was like a crap.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what are the chances?
I know. I stayed here before and I didn't hear anything, but
Well, I wonder if we could write up the.
They're thinking they heard a whistle and not.
very weird.
So I guess let's keep an eye out or keep an ear out for more of that.
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
I like Chipotle too, man.
I don't know, dude. This is
I like
good
Moe's. If I'm gonna get some.
How loud Ron was. What's up?
Like how loud his footsteps were. You know, like
Ron?
something. If something's creeping around us at night, it's gonna have a hard time staying quiet.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Ron.
think so?
I mean, walking
Well,
through there.
Well,
was-
like if it was in this substrate, maybe
didn't
not.
already have a. I mean,
no, I'm done.
What do you make of the Paul Freeman shit?
That one's tough, dude. You know what though? It's like
There he goes guy?
yeah.
There he goes.
Oh, there he goes.
I go back and forth on it because if that's a guy in a suit, that's a big dude.
Freeman's like a Patterson character. That's what he reminds me of. He's got a lot of like.
Ambiguous.
He's got a lot of like sketchy things, but good things too.
Is there enough for 3?
Yeah.
I know
John
Green vouched
pretty hard for
Patterson's character.
Huh?
John
Can I get a new tortilla?
hard for
Can I get a new tortilla?
Right.
I'll get that plate.
Didn't he wasn't Freeman accused of like a few different like folk attempts or
So
something like that?
Freeman was practicing Bigfoot footprints in his backyard in his garden, but he wanted to see he says he wanted to see how one could be hoaxed. So
I asked Meldrum about
And then
it.
he put it out there just like a hoaxer would to see if anybody would catch it.
Yeah.
So we're headed over somewhere just slightly out of camp, and we're going to place one of these pheromone chips.
Gorilla and human vaginal bacterial odors, so it's not very pleasant. Quite the opposite.
There we go.
Oh, God. I already fucking smell it. Excuse my language.
Like I was saying, I dig these
I
because
like
of the
that
jaw.
one. I like this one. This is probably my favorite frame. These two, because look, I mean, they're just creepy. Look at how creepy that face looks.
Yeah.
And then turn. Now let's go to 352.
Yeah, this
Fucking Tate headbutts the book. Man,
is that an artifact on the lens?
It's got to be because it's not there in any of these other ones.
What is it that roams the forests of Humboldt at night after campers go to bed? Is it some sort of relict hominoid, like Australopithecus or Paranthropus, that learned that their only means of survival is to avoid modern humans at all costs? Or is it some sort of ape that have it ingrained in their DNA to remain in the forest and avoid modern society? What did Roger Patterson record?
Well, good morning. Slept pretty good last night for the time that I did. We didn't hear much last night. There were a couple moments where the dog went on alert, and we did hear maybe some movement down here in the creek. But other than that, all quiet in the western front. And I also see why the people from the Bluff Creek Project like bringing new people here to see the site. Every time you bring somebody down and you explain to them where the stumps are, where frame 1 is, where Patterson knelt to film Patty, you start to see it unravel before their eyes, and they can finally see this overgrown jungle turn into that sandbar from 1967. And through their experience, you kind of get to live out your first experience being here again. All right, Ron Reed's up. What's up, Ron Reed? How'd you sleep?
Well, it was quiet. I didn't have any undiscovered hominids disturb my slumber.
Not this time. Good. Yeah, I was sleeping, and we were sleeping at a decline like this, so my head, everything was kind of rushing toward my head, and I have like a little bit of GERD. So at one point I got like heartburn and started choking, and I woke up frantically like and scared the shit out of Tate. He was like, I thought you maybe saw like a bear or something like that and you were freaking out. I was like, no man, I couldn't breathe. That happened to me. So yeah, that was the great event that happened last night. But other than that, we got a Bandit here making his way up, tent up there. Let's go check on that pheromone chip that we put up there. Alex Petikoff, you sleep okay?
Yeah.
Nice. Great. You want to go check on that pheromone chick?
Yeah, I'm just gonna head down the line for a second. How is it over there?
This is an ancient land. The tribes here are an ancient people. What is Bigfoot to these tribes?
The tribe looks at them like the keepers of the mountain, the boss of the woods, the upslope people, the people that look down on you from up above on the hills. And they're kind of a symbol for what happens when you get too greedy. And, you know, if you're not respectful to the forest, Bigfoot will take care of you. Like you go out there, you go out logging, cutting down trees, and, you know, leaving garbage out, you know, disrespecting the land. And one of these things is going to come by and eat you.
All right, so we're gonna go check on this pheromone chip, see if anything walked around it. It really smells terrible.
Can you smell it?
Yeah, I can smell it.
You can smell it.
It smells terrible.
Smells like poo-poo caca.
Dude, this whole bag smells like poo-poo caca now.
Smells like a cheap strip club in South Central.
We're gonna have to end up like quadruple bagging it. Wait, it is quadruple bag.
I'll tell you, I caught a whiff of that, and it's making this Cliff bar go down pretty.
Want to take another whiff?
Yeah, I mean, why not? When in Rome, smell gorilla pussy.
You take that surprisingly well. Everyone else is
You had no reaction to it, Rodney. It's like if you had an experience with this or something.
Little known fact, these Talenti gelato.
Remember we pushed that tree over and you could hear it across the lake? Yeah, dude. Yeah, because see, like I've tried to.
Crazy.
Damn, Daniel. Dude, it's a huge black bear.
And that's right here.
It's pretty. Now,
Yeah, it's right here where we're camping, right now.
That's a big boy.
what you guys will notice, we'll go through and look at all the pictures of the bears. Not one bear.
That's a
Two
suit.
bears look alike.
That's a bear suit.
This is the fat. I think I've seen him before.
It's a Bigfoot in a bear
dark,
suit.
He's really healthy. He's really plump most of the time. And
How big do you think?
Yeah, definitely good. I think we got one time a fox chasing a marten. It was so quick.
Oh wow.
No way.
He's dancing. He's scratching him. Whoa.
Oh,
Man,
you can see like the muscles and everything. That's crazy.
Wow.
Is that the same bear? That looks like it's a
It's the
bigger
same-
mark, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like long. Hold on.
That's weird. You see how dark that one
It's
is?
huge.
Oh yeah, look at his long legs.
Yeah, that's a different bear.
A construction worker from this area of the 1960s named Ray Wallace claimed that it was his wife dressed in a monkey suit that we see on the Patterson-Gimlin footage. He also claimed to have reels upon reels of authentic Bigfoot footage. He also claimed to have multiple close encounters with UFOs. He also claimed he had in his possession the body of a baby Bigfoot. At one point in this era, he had a pair of wooden stompers and attempted to make a trackway to fool researchers.
And if you look at the print from Ray Wallace, it's sculptured and carved and looks like a surfer's print, but it's obviously a work of art, you know, from somebody who carved it, compared to the organic, scary, round print of Jerry Crew. Totally organic. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Ray Wallace was never taken serious by anyone in this era. Bigfoot footprints can be found all across America, showing the same anatomical characteristics. When Ray Wallace died in 2002, the media, believe it or not, ran with the story put out by his sons that he made all the Bigfoot footprints.
You know, Ray Wallace was a kook talking about all this crazy stuff. But when Ray Wallace finally passed, his kids, now he could not handle being interviewed because he was like, he would start talking about UFOs and all this other crazy stuff. And yeah, so they waited until he passed for the kids to say, oh, Bigfoot's dead. That was our dad. That was our dad. He did all the prints. He did all the prints. He did all the prints. It's all him. Well, gee, this goes back hundreds of years. Like there's from the 1700s, you know, wild man in the woods, you know, it's impossible.
Well, we're back at Louse Camp. Staying at the Patterson-Gimlin film site was awesome. We'll be back here, probably going on some night stuff, getting into some shenanigans.
Yeah, so I think there's a team walking up at the cell site, and there's going to be a team at Laird Meadow tonight. So, okay, I believe it was 2016, my first time here in Louse Camp. It was me, my dad, and a couple other friends. So we, me and my dad and one of my friends had a pretty big tent that was set up right here, long ways. So my dad was kind of laying diagonally here, my friend was laying diagonally here. I was laying horizontally, kind of looking in this direction. My other buddy had his tent right here, and both of our cars were kind of parked behind you where you're standing. And I thought I was hearing whoops up in that direction and knocks. So I was like, okay, I was a little freaked out, but whatever. And it wasn't until like maybe 1 in the morning, I was laying down, and I saw this shadow, the direction of travel. It came up like here from the creek, walked to right here, and then it's turned like this, and then turned back the same way again. And went down that way. And what was interesting, I listened to the audio because I had my phone recording audio that night. I heard something walking around camp, and it sounded like I heard some knocks and whoops on the audio. So I was like, it was very interesting, and shadows don't really do that. It had to be something physical standing there to do that. But I really couldn't say what it was for sure, but it was upright looking, and it was really odd. But yeah, that was kind of the weirder experience that I've had here. This is my first time coming up, so who knows.
When he was made friends with Bob Titmus, which is another great story, he was a taxidermist in town, and he had taught Jerry how to do a plaster cast, and he had shown him, he had stenciled something out, was on a piece of cardboard and just showed it to Bob Titmus. He goes, that's fake. He goes, yeah, let me show you, here's how to take a cast and blah, blah, blah. So he got his little kit. Then he used it and made them, and he brought it into town and showed it to him. He goes, he said, you're being punked. They're faking, and this is fake. And he goes, it couldn't be fake because there's too many of them, and they go down ravines, and there's no way you could ever get that down. Plus, there's all these different things where they threw 600-pound tires and giant oil drums full down ravines without dragging them. They're so strong. Later, there was a letter that I have that from Bob Titmus to Jerry saying, you know what, those are real. Everything you said was real. Everything you showed me was real. I have that letter.
Distance that was unnatural. Right?
It was
like
unnatural
it
enough for them to,
it was moved.
Note that was like a super, crazy thing that happened. Something picked up full barrels of gasoline thrown in the creek here.
Everyone was spooked. All his people that were logging, they were quitting, man. They're no. They're done. They're done. They're leaving.
Because they were seeing tracks here regularly.
Yeah, Bob Titmus is actually the one who provided him with the plaster, showed him how to do it, and he came here, he made the plaster cast, and he drove it to you.
It's kind of surreal here, being surrounded by these trees and thinking that at one time there was nobody else coming in here. It was just Jerry Crew and his workers. Now imagine coming in to an isolated place like this and finding your machinery overthrown, giant footprints all over the place, and having to head back to town and tell people.
When this thing took off and went all over the world in 1958, he was horrified, He talked to the guy at the Humboldt guy, dude, 2,700 calls came in this week, It's like, whoa.
When learning about the Bigfoot phenomena, one comes across several stories about dogs refusing to hunt or track and end up cowering whenever there's suspected Bigfoot activity around. This was my first time seeing this in person. During our short walk, learning about the location of the Jerry Crew prints, you'll notice in the background that Ron Reed's dog Bandit was standing in the middle of the road. He appears to be alerted to something down in the creek, where me and another camper had just heard a couple potential wood knocks. This dog has a history of hiking over 60 miles of the Appalachian Trail and being in Bigfoot territory all across the nation with Ron.
So we're sitting there talking to Jamie Wayne's telling us about the Jerry Crew prints. And so this is how it happens. Since you weren't there, I'll tell you the story while I'm telling it on camera. So Jamie's telling us about the Jerry Crew prints, and we hear these little tiny knocks, right?
Like everybody turned. We thought it was these guys.
There was something.
All we were doing.
Bandit just acted really.
Like, Tate threw a couple of rocks down there when we were all still together.
Yeah,
Bandit
sorry.
ran up the trail and was hiding in the trail. He's had his tail between his legs
I didn't
right
even
now.
notice that because I was so into the.
He walked up. We
Well,
had
he
to make
ran
a
away
look.
from us.
That's my belt. We made a leash for him. The dog
He wouldn't
won't
listen.
come.
Look at, he's got his tail between his legs. He's freaked out.
But that is unusual.
And that is the area that we
Everything
were just
I've seen
up
from
right
that
there.
dog's disposition since it arrived here.
Oh.
And then we were just up on that ridge, and we had like, I don't know, we heard something.
Just sounded like something big moving through there. No wood knocks or anything.
Look you up on elevation, probably.
No, it was like right when I stopped immediately.
Well, they say they follow you.
What made him hide in the bushes and refuse to come out? What did this dog see or sense for the first time in his 11 years of being on the trails with Ron? Was it the same creature that left giant footprints and vandalized Jerry Crew's construction site? Was it the same creature that threw rocks at the incoming campers a couple days ago? Was it the same creature that billionaire Tom Slick hired an entire team of men to hunt, who based themselves here at Louse Camp? With experts brought in from all around, why weren't they able to find anything other than footprints? Legendary men like Peter Byrne.
Gary and Peter Burns took a sample, a fecal sample, and sent it to Berkeley, UC Berkeley. And when they came back with the analyzation, they knew that it was a carnivore because there was little animal bones in it, but they also found parasites in it that were only from humans and apes.
Canadian Bigfoot researcher John Green and local big game hunter, tracker, and taxidermist Bob Titmus were paid to make the discovery.
This is one of 4 Bigfoot casts made on November 2nd, 1958 on Bluff Creek in South Del Norte County, Northern California. Cast made by Bob Titmus, same day on a very hard wet sandbar. Weight estimate at least 800 to 1,000 pounds. Tracks were very fresh. Normal walking stride was 52 inches toe to heel. Tracks measured 15.5 inches long by 6 inches wide. We tracked this individual Bigfoot for approximately 2 miles or more. Ed Patrick was with me on this trip. This is the first time I've seen this smaller track. For the past couple of months, I've been tracking a considerably larger Bigfoot. Bob Titmus.
Despite their best efforts, it seems that these men, despite their credentials, despite their reputations, ended up just chasing shadows. We find ourselves here, half a century later, chasing those same shadows. And tonight, we'll go chase those shadows at Laird Meadow. Laird Meadow has some historical significance because it's where Roger Patterson cast a footprint in 1964.
Yeah, well, say Alex went with me. I have a flare and a walkie. And Eli went with Jonathan. He has a walkie and night vision. So we'll be good. Terry has, I think Stevie has a night vision and a walkie. So we'll have Ron go with Stevie.
We're here at Laird Meadow. We're going to do some knocks, calls, and sit out for a long period of time and see what rustles up.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
So we got a road group and a field group. We're gonna split up.
I'd like to go that way.
For hundreds of years, across many cultures, woodknocks in the forest have been attributed to Sasquatch. While reports of Bigfoot actually being seen picking up a rock or a stick and knocking are ultra rare, it has been more common to hear these knocks, then find footprints, experience other phenomena, or even have a sighting. Are these woodknocks a form of non-vocal communication, like gorillas in Africa have been observed to do?
So we're on this little isolated island of trees in the middle of a meadow. That's Tate's setup right there. That's him squatting down.
And we got pretty clear stick branches and a whoop. So much so that we thought it was them. It's 2 knocks. Oh wow, that's a big one. Dude. Wow. Wow. The most prominent thing we heard were several knocks from that direction. We heard a whoop and then branches break. You guys hear that? Big branches, crack, crack. Yeah, over there. But we had the knocks that we heard were coming from that direction. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I heard. That's where we came in. The first sound that you heard of the night, what was that? Sticks breaking and a whoop. Where? This way. The tree line come down behind me. I could have swore I heard something. Dude, it was loud. It was like a tree branch or something. And then I was like, because I was leaning against the log. I'm like, oh.
It sounded like wood on wood up the road and wood on wood down the road within like a very short time of each other.
Weird, dude.
Loud, right?
Loud as yeah, it's kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's so too good to be true kind of thing.
You could hear the texture of the bark.
Yeah, I heard it. 100%.
So
tantalizing, elusive as ever.
Morning.
That was thrown. And I found that little quiet knock that we heard.
Really? Good shit, dude. I can't wait to see it on my Zoom. Because my Zoom is hanging in that tree. So it would have been...
No, I mean from here.
Oh, up the...
But where was
up to
at what point do you remember those 2 knocks on the road? The road one up there and the run down on the road.
I can't remember. Towards the end.
Last night.
Well, we're trying to go...
was really
Robert up at the
wow.
So yeah, we got to talk to those guys.
And then right down the road again.
No, I appreciate that.
Super.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, man. It's somewhere around here.
I have to listen to
Tree Grove. So that was behind us, so we're like...
We threw our rocks, we threw them on the other side of the mountain. But we heard some noises down there. Because that's what we ended up feeling like, was we were like, okay, we're on top over here. They're saying they're hearing sporadic knocks, but we can't hear jack anything. So we're like, well, we started to hear a little noise down there, like a short vocalization that was kind of unclear. But that's when we started chucking like different rocks. We threw some gravel just to see what would happen, you know, because we were trying to do things that weren't going to disturb like the audios, like or things that you guys would hear and be like, what was that? So we were trying to go on the opposite side.
I don't know.
One big thing I'm taking away right now from our conversation is that they didn't hear any of our knocks,
which is crazy.
And we thought we heard theirs. There's no way that you guys did something louder than my wood knocker. I was hitting it with
the loudest. Yeah.
I mean, that thing was resonating pretty good. And if you guys didn't hear that, there's nothing that you guys had that we could have heard on you.
You'll have to talk to Terry and see. I don't know if he had any point, because he's kind of like that. At any point he heard.
This is a lot wilder and a lot further in than I thought. And just the sequence of events, strange things that we've had happen here leading up to Knox last night. Rock slide when we first came in here with Tate. Dogs behaving strangely. I mean, as Ken Gerhardt put it last night, as we were walking here, right where the original Jerry Crew tracks happened, and where the term Bigfoot was really started. We're walking in that very same dirt. That is, if this is a place that has produced so much Bigfoot evidence and encounters for the past 70 years, if there was a place to have something happen, this would be the perfect location.
Rugged AF.
It's so rugged out here, dude. It's rough. 'Cause, like, I've been all sorts of places, walking all over the PNW, and that's rugged too. But, like, here you have, like, for me, the most rugged part of this is the temperature changes. Because it's hot during the day, like 100 degrees, and it's like 50 at night. That's like, if you're not careful, dude, that'll get you sick, like, real quick, So, and then you're contending with everything else, So it's just
50-degree temperature swings. Everyone comes here set up for 95 degrees, and then at nighttime, when it drops to 40,
yeah, you're like,
everyone starts putting blankets on and throwing random clothes on top of themselves.
Yeah, dude, you have to be prepared to be out here.
Funny, man. I'm glad you got to experience something out here. Glad I did too.
It's been insane since I got here. That was the first time I ever saw a UFO.
I wish I could have taken a skeptic of the Bigfoot phenomena out there with me that night. I feel that what we experienced that night would have certainly opened a closed-minded person to the idea of something unexplained living in this forest.
That's Stevie, not a Sasquatch.
So we got some.
There's one right here.
Despite our best efforts, we didn't gather any evidence this trip, but we did walk away with a handful of unexplainable experiences. I believe that it's consistency in coming back to these places and having these experiences over and over that will eventually lead to the gathering of evidence.
There's this interesting book called Wisdom Sits in Places, and I think that really sums up my experience here. I think coming here, I'm not really a religious person, but I consider myself kind of spiritual, and I feel connected to the land here, and I think that by respecting the land, and not just respecting the land, but becoming like a steward of the land, picking up trash and, anything that's not right, make it right, or, just showing some respect for the land. And though I've just kind of made it part of my life's mission to kind of be up here and talk to people about how special a place this is.
Actually, I spent 2.5 years writing the screenplay for Jerry's life, and what the goal was to take all the legend and all the stuff that it was built into and pare it all down to the absolute truth and tell the truth about what happened. The print, yeah, and it's a full-length feature film, and it's just wow, it was quite a deal.
Film and footprints, bald eagles and meth, rivers and berries, hidden pot farms and bears, mysterious sounds and primatologists, campfire tales and never-ending wilderness. This is the tale of the land. This is Humboldt. My name's Jonathan, and thanks for watching Western Bigfoot Exploration.